The deniers are pretty much silenced. Bloomberg, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, CNBC, Congress, the SEC, the CFTC, the Treasury, all the central banks of the world, they all kind of acknowledge it's not tulip bulbs. It's a real asset. It's a digital commodity.
Have you developed a view on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies?
Well, I believe in blockchains.
This is Larry Fink, co-founder and CEO of BlackRock, talking about digital currency 5 years ago.
People are speculating on it, but most importantly, what I think about most of these cryptocurrencies, it just identifies how much money laundering there is being done in the world.
BlackRock is the world's largest asset manager with approximately $10 trillion in assets under management. For perspective, that's 25 South African economies added together.
We're not hearing clients saying we want to use this as an asset class. No.
4 years ago, Fink's answer began to sound a bit more ambiguous.
Is it true that you're building out a cryptocurrency capability?
No.
Fast forward to 2023 and BlackRock's position on Bitcoin is a resounding yes, with the investment giant recently filing for a spot Bitcoin ETF, which when approved will allow them to offer Bitcoin to their institutional grade clients.
Let's be clear, Bitcoin is an international asset. It's digitizing gold in many ways.
Larry Fink is not the only big name critic to do a 180 on Bitcoin. Billionaire investor Howard Marks said in a memo back in 2017 that Bitcoin was an unfounded fad. 4 years later, he said he jumped the gun and is glad that his son holds a meaningful amount of Bitcoin for their family.
It's just that I now view my past negativism as having been knee-jerk skepticism and thus premature.
Here's billionaire hedge fund manager Ken Griffin of Citadel Securities back in 2018.
What's unfortunate is the amount of hype and the number of early investors who've been caught up in this hype. I wish the 27-year-old wasn't buying Bitcoin.
But here we are 5 years later, with Citadel partnering with banking giants Fidelity and Charles Schwab to launch their own marketplace where investors can trade Bitcoin and other digital assets.
And many other titans of Wall Street are coming around to the incredible opportunity that Bitcoin presents.
Guggenheim, Paul Tudor Jones, Druckenmiller, the list goes on and on these days.
One of these titans is Paul Tudor Jones, a billionaire hedge fund manager who now has 5% of his personal wealth stored in Bitcoin.
For me, it's just a way of kind of foundationally looking at how do I protect my wealth through time. And I think it's a great diversifier. And I look at it, again, I look at Bitcoin as a store of wealth.
Listen carefully to what he says next.
I like the idea of investing in something that's reliable, consistent, honest, and 100% certain. So Bitcoin has appealed to me because it's a way for me to invest in certainty.
In Europe, we're seeing a similar shift by big banks as they apply to become legal custodians for Bitcoin, including Deutsche Bank and Societe Generale.
And heading into the 2024 US election, numerous candidates are openly expressing their support for Bitcoin and defending the public's right to own it.
As president, I will make sure that your right to hold and use Bitcoin is inviolable.
Even Michael Saylor, the most outspoken Bitcoin advocate, was not sold on Bitcoin when he first heard about it, tweeting famously in 2013, "Bitcoin's days are numbered. It seems like just a matter of time before it suffers the same fate as online gambling."
He's come a long way since then, with his company MicroStrategy having bought close to $5 billion worth of Bitcoin so far. And that doesn't even account for his personal Bitcoin purchases.
The deniers are pretty much silenced. Bloomberg, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, CNBC, Congress, the SEC, the CFTC, the Treasury, all the central banks of the world, they all kind of acknowledge it's not tulip bulbs. It's a real asset. It's a digital commodity. So the deniers are out of the mainstream.
As more and more billionaires reverse their stance on Bitcoin, it begs the question, what do they know that the rest of us don't? But one thing is clear, those who take the time to really study Bitcoin always end up with the same conclusion. Bitcoin is the ultimate tool to protect your wealth over the long run, and there simply is no greater financial opportunity out there. There are, of course, still a few skeptics who are yet to see the light.
Bitcoin itself is a hyped up fraud.
If I buy Bitcoin, am I buying a share of stock? Or am I buying a pork belly? Or am I buying euros? Or am I buying?
Are you buying
air.
The crypto, is it being used for real transactions? No. It is a cult.
But as Saylor points out, it doesn't pay to resist the digital money revolution. Any investor who held onto Blockbuster or Kodak shares learned that the hard way as we transition to the age of Netflix and Apple.
You can't, with a straight face, go on CNBC and say Bitcoin's going to be banned when they've got the ticker in the lower right corner, and they've got the head of the SEC, the head of the CFTC, the Secretary of the Treasury, and then Jerome Powell all saying, I think it's going to be around for a while, it's a real thing.
Learning about Bitcoin and deciding to invest in it is an individual journey, one which we must each take for ourselves.
But regardless of any personal doubts we may have, institutional acceptance and mass adoption is inevitable.
But Bitcoin is here to stay.
It's only a matter of time before other industry leaders start paying attention.
And you may want to secure some Bitcoin for yourself before they do.
Bitcoin changes absolutely everything. And I don't think there's anything more important in my lifetime to work on, and I don't think there's anything more enabling for people around the world.
Now we get that you may be nervous to invest in Bitcoin, and so to help you dip your toe into this new world of investing, we've managed to secure you 200 Rand free Bitcoin if you sign up to LUNO using our promo code. Once you purchase 500 Rand worth of Bitcoin, you'll receive 200 Rand free. If you need help activating the referral code, there's a link to a short tutorial below. And if you'd like a step-by-step guide to help you through the entire purchase process on LUNO, click here now. Thanks for watching.